Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna try to breeze through this 7-game slate. Missed the ball against Chicago, 10-4. He's always gonna be in play. Why SGA is cheaper than Mr. LaMelo, I have no clue. SGA is the MVP of the league. Some of you are gonna say, okay, Jokic's numbers are real gaudy. Yeah, his numbers are gaudy. However, SGA is the best player on the best team in the league, and the supporting cast isn't, that spectacular. SGA is the correct MVP. I'm not gonna go back and forth. Kyrie might be a little bit overpriced. He's not gonna up his game with Luka off the bench. He's just gonna go do what he does. And I like Kyrie for Gafford if you want to play Gafford, because I don't really like playing Gafford or Lively without one of their top guards, without Luka or Kyrie. I think Gafford went off without Kyrie the last game, but I really want Gafford with one of his point guards. So if Kyrie is in, I like Gafford a little bit better. Hero seems to be the only one with a pulse on Miami. I've been telling y'all something's wrong with Miami, and something's wrong with. I've been telling y'all about Rozier. Bam, those two are pitiful. Hero's the only one with a pulse, but do you want to spend 88, almost 9K on him? That's up to you. Scotty Barnes is an okay play. Toronto's been playing a little bit better. They should, because Barnes, Pirtle, quickly when he plays, and Barrett are all good players, so they should be playing better. Barnes is an okay play, but I'm going to need 2 out of his top 4 guys to be out for me to want to play him at 8,700. Brunson's in play. Is Cat back? Cat is questionable. If Cat can go, you go right back to Brunson. Lillard's an okay play, but you never know when he's going to have a great game or he's going to go 0 for 14. So he's just an okay play. You can't really game log Chase anymore because we're seeing a lot of players have great games and have shit games right after it. There's no real rhyme or reason, especially this last week in the NBA. Everything is just upside down right now, so you can't look at Lillard and say, okay, he had a great game yesterday, he'll have a great game today. 50 fantasy points, 30 real life points. Last 2 games, he's been optimal. I'm lying. To that 8,500. All right, you can get away with 44 fantasy points at 8,500, but you're really looking for like 50, to be honest with you. 8,600, 33 fantasy points. You probably lose. Lillard's in play, but the problem with Lillard, besides game log watching, is that if Giannis has one of those games, it's going to take away from Lillard. I don't mind Lillard at 8,400 though. Murray's in play against Utah. If he can't go, McCollum and Murphy gets a bump. Is Zion back? Zion seems to be back. Zion's in play. Zion looks better if there's no Murray. Westbrook's in play, but Jamal Murray's been playing a little bit better. Where's Jamal at? Jamal is under. Okay. Westbrook's okay. He gets a bump if there's no Jokic, but once again, Jokic is questionable, and now we don't really know if he's going to play or not because they hit us with the real okie doke last Denver slate and ruled him out after all the good centers were ruled out. He's questionable, so it's 50-50. Waiting on these late news and then having it not go the way you think it's gonna go has been ruining lineups, you know, everywhere. And they just keep doing it. They keep doing it. Like not, it happens if it happens every once in the blue, that's part of the game. But if you're gonna be doing this shit every single night, you're probably gonna just lose. You're probably just gonna lose players, to be honest with you. Because if I didn't have a YouTube channel and a Patreon and channel members and all that, I probably would have been done with this shit a few nights ago, to be honest with you. But if they're gonna keep riding the same horse and riding late slate news and wait until everything else locks to say, oh, this guy's not playing. If that's what we're gonna be doing, this shit ain't gonna be worth it. I'm just being honest. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're gonna keep our eye on Jokic news. Giddy looks better if there's no Kobe White, but he's unreliable. He's another one. He can give you 50 and then give you 13. His minutes, he's been playing over 30 minutes lately, but there's nothing you could depend on about Giddy. If White is out, he looks a lot better. Murray looks better if there's no Jokic, but so probable means that he's more likely to play. He gets a bump if there's no Jokic. If for some reason he gets downgraded and him and Jokic are out, then Westbrook looks a lot better. But that game is at 8. It's still bad business having to wait to 7:31. 30 minutes before that game starts to find out if he's playing or not. Spoke about McCollum. McCollum's okay. He looks better with no Murray. White's an okay play. I'm not interested in Dinwiddie. Cole Anthony. I'm not interested in Cole Anthony. 29 fantasy points at 6.2 isn't the end of the world. It's not great. But they got smashed anyway. He's like a last man in. If he's your last man in, okay. The Sumno, not really interested in him unless White was out and he started for some reason. He'll be a little bit more enticing. Keontae, not really interested in. Rozier's overpriced because he's awful. Pritchard, not really interested in on this slate. Collier, not interested in. Lonzo, it's 4.6. Not interested in him because unless White is out, give Lonzo a little bump, but at 4.6K, he's going to play, 24 minutes? He's not the worst player in the world, but I need White out. The rest of these guys I'm not going to be touching. Hardy had 33 off the bench. You can't call that. You never know when that's going to happen. If Kyrie can't go, Hardy does get a little bump, but I'm not guaranteeing you that he's going to get 33 fantasy points again. The rest of these guys are pretty much unplayable. Anthony Edwards is in play. As long as that starting lineup is the same, you could play Anthony Edwards because everything has to go through him. Besides DiVincenzo, the rest of them are offensively limited. That's the best way I could put that. Levine's in play. Jaylen Brown's been all right lately. 30 plus fantasy points, 35 plus fantasy points. Nothing too crazy. When he gets back into that 40 range, then I'll look at him again. Don't need him right now. You need big scores to win at fantasy sports now. So that 30 something fantasy points at 8K ain't gonna do much of anything. Trey Murphy's in play. You get a bump if there's no Murray. Brandon Miller's okay. Sexton, I'm not. Sexton is $7,500. His ceiling is mid-30s. I'm not interested. He shot 20 times and still only gave you 36 fantasy points. No, thank you. I'm sorry. Mikal Bridges. I'm only interested in him if there's no cat. Klay Thompson's hit or miss. If you're playing a lot of lineups, you want to throw some Klay in there, have at it. If you're playing one lineup and you play Klay, probably going to lose. Grady, 4,200. Not really interested in him. He's 4,200. All right. Well, I'm not interested in him. You need big scores. Like on FanDuel, you need like 380. Like 350 ain't even gonna get it done anymore. You need big scores. You know what that means? Can't be having guys giving you 25 fantasy points, 30 fantasy points. 30 fantasy points mean nothing. You need big scores. All right, let's go to small forward. Tatum's all right. Jimmy Butler's back. If he's even 1% owned, I'll be surprised. Like, what do you expect him to go out and do? Go out and play well? Have a great game after the organization just made him look like an idiot? Yeah, all right. Yeah, fuck all that. He's probably going to get downgraded by tip off. I don't see him playing at all. I mean, I see him. I don't see him playing well. That's what I mean. I don't see him playing well if he plays at all. I want no parts of Jimmy Butler. He's either going to go out there and give you 10 fantasy points or 80 fantasy points, but I'm not taking that risk. Barrett is 8K. That means I need 50 fantasy points. He gave it to us last game. You see the difference? Sexton took 20 shots, gave you 30-something fantasy points. He took 18 shots and gave you 51 fantasy points. That's the difference. I'm still not really gung-ho over RJ Barrett, though. That's 8K. You still got Pirtle. Dick gonna need some shots. Pause. Barnes gonna need his shots. RJ Barrett, if you're playing 5, 6, 7 lineups, throw him in one, but I don't know if I can put him in my one or two lineups. Porter, only if there's no Jokic. Hawkins Jr.'s ass. Last season I thought he was something, but he's turned out to be a lot of nothing. 24, 43, 25, 20, 24. Like, you are what you repeatedly do. If you're paying 6K for this guy and he's giving you low 20s, mid 20s fantasy points, you lose. You lose. And it's crazy because people were glazing this guy. People were glazing Hawkins Jr. and he's ass. I don't really see what the hype was about. 5, 21, 14, 12. Well, guess people just glaze anything nowadays. Let's continue. Sensabaugh, his price is coming up and they're going to still bring him off the bench. They're bringing him off the bench on purpose. He's still coming out and taking double-digit shots. At his price right now, you're going to need 30 fantasy points. So, you're going to need this exact game again. You feel me? Okay. No Grimes for me. McDaniels is hit or miss. This guy's ass. He's definitely not his brother's keeper. I think that's it for small forward. Before we go to power forward, if you're new here, welcome. Appreciate you taking time to watch my video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Hit the bell, thumbs up the video. I know NBA is hard. If you don't have time to do research, you don't have time to wait for starting lineups, you don't have time to wait for late news, you want me to send you my finalized, optimal, updated lineups right before lock, check out the Patreon link in the description. Check out the channel memberships right here on YouTube. Super chats to open. Everything else should be in the description. Let's go to power forward. Giannis is in play. Banchero, how many minutes did he play? Still on a limit. Once we get restrictions off, you shove Banchero up your ass. If you hear his restrictions are off tonight at 8,700, just shove him up your ass and don't look back. The Zion, if there's no Murray, you're shoving Zion up your ass and you're not looking back either. Josh Hart, if there's no Cat, you're shoving Josh Hart straight up your ass also. You got all three of those motherfuckers stuck in your ass. Pause. Jalen Williams is an okay play. He's a good play. Miles Bridges, 7-3. Fine, looks better with no Miller. Randall is straight cheeks. He's been exposed. They need to send him to China. PJ Washington is unreliable. Has an upside, but he's unreliable. If Kyrie's in, I give him a little. If Kyrie's out, I give him a little bit of a bump. But it's OKC. I'm not fucking with OKC. OKC is a defensive death pit. That's what they are. I'm not fucking around with OKC. Bobby Portis, if you're desperate, or if you want to be cute. Jovic gets run off the bench. I don't mind him. Reed off the bench. I don't mind him. No Gordon for me. No Williams for me. The Silva's cheeks. Let's go to center. Let's wrap this bad boy up. So we're watching Jokic. We're watching Towns. Vooch is in play. No Bam for me. Porzingis if you're desperate. I would like to play Mark Williams at 6'8". If he can't go, oh my God, is that Diabate? Oh shit, he might be out too. What a dilemma. He's ill. We're all ill. Everybody's running around with the same illness, like fucking COVID all over again. What are we gonna do if there's no Mark Williams? Miles Bridges at center. Saloon is god awful. Two, 6, 20, 15. Saloon. If you started Saloon at center and played him for 90 minutes, he will have 22 fantasy points. That guy is god awful. They better just put Bridges at center. That's what I recommend they do. I don't even care if it's Vooch or not. But so we're gonna keep an eye on Charlotte center dilemma. What else we got going on here? Pirtle 6'2" is too cheap. I might have to break my Toronto rule of not playing one of the big three. If three are active, playing one of the big three or playing one of the big four. If two are out, so if two are out, you can play one. If one are out, I don't really want to get to them. But Quickly's out. I wouldn't want to get to Barnes at that price. I wouldn't want to get to Barrett at that price. But Pirtle at 6.2, I really only need 36 fantasy points. So I'm going to break my Toronto rule and say that Pirtle's in play. I don't think I'm interested in Gafford. I'm not going to fuck around with OKC. I've seen enough. Speaking of OKC, I do want to talk about that event with Cleveland last night. That was highly newsworthy and suspicious. But I'm not healthy enough to go through all that right now. I'm barely able to do this video, but I'll get to Cleveland and OKC probably when I feel a little bit better. Cause we're gonna talk about Mobley and Jared Allen riding the bench while Shai's out there cooking, and I don't want to hear about no goddamn matchups. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say something because in the first quarter, first of all, the NBA's promoting this game, right? And it's being promoted, and it's a big game, the best of the best. And you go out there, you do your runs, you do your thing, and then Cleveland does their first rotation. Mitchell to the bench, whoever, whatever. Jared Allen to the bench, whatever. Shai's still out there cooking. Of course, Shai's going to be locked in because they lost. He's going to come out on a mission. Everybody knew that, right? So when you go to your first rotations and you put your starters are sitting, and you're watching Shai come down the court, score at will, and he does this 2-3 times in a row, shouldn't you call a timeout and put your guys back in and say, nah, we're not doing this today. If this is the type of game we're going to have, then let's go at it. But no, you sat there and you waved the white flag in the first quarter. And how do I know you waved the white flag? Why did Mobley only play 18 minutes? Why did Jared Allen only play 6? Because you didn't try. You quit, you gave up, you laid down, and that's a form of sabotage. That's a form of manipulation. And that's a form of cheating in my book. Okay, you just lay down and let this guy do whatever he wanted to do. Shai played the whole first quarter. Meanwhile, you got fucking Isaac Okoro and fucking all these other goofs fucking prancing around the fucking court. This fucking sport is a mockery. Sport is a fucking mockery. NBA is a fucking joke. I ain't even got no more breath in my body. Who else is left? Who the fuck is this? Gobert looks a lot better with no cat. Gobert's a fraud. I'm sorry. I wanted to like him. Send him back to fucking France. Missy, if you're desperate at 48. Wendell Carter's cheeks. Ware's probably... I don't mind getting to Ware. He's going to play what? 17 minutes? 18 minutes. Ware and Hero are probably the best two guys on Miami right now, fantasy-wise. Ware's in play for me. Jericho Sims have been getting minutes with no cat. 23 minutes, 16 fantasy points. They're going to run no plays for him. He's got to grab rebounds, catch alley-oops. But he's not getting no blocks or nothing. Big for nothing. Another fucking big for nothing gooner out there doing a bunch of nothing. Who else is here? They fucking played this guy last night. Who the fuck is this guy? Brandon fucking Carlson, and he was fucking better than Jalen Williams. Oh, let's talk about that fucking goon. Wow. Jalen Williams. These guys call themselves professional athletes, can't even grab a fucking rebound. 7 feet for no reason. Chucking threes like they're fucking Reggie Miller. Where you could just go to the fucking basket and put the ball in the hoop. Oh my god. Every day this sport gets fucking more ridiculous. I gotta get out of here. Listen. Appreciate y'all taking time to listen to my video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up the video, check out the Patreon, check out the channel membership. There it goes. And there I go. Yeah. I'll talk to y'all later. Ciao.